So we're going to do an exercise really quickly now. If everybody's been to the gym before, they know that you might do a little circuit, right? And you want to work on doing some squats, doing some deadlifts, maybe doing some burpees. What we want to do here is an exercise that works our muscle of buying back our time. It's called the professional builder's rate, and it's your effective hourly rate as a business owner. So has everybody got their calculator handy? Pull up your phone, get your calculator ready, or a back of napkin piece of paper. We're going to go through and calculate your professional builder's rate or your effective hourly rate as a business owner. So the example is on the screen. Let me walk you through it now. What we want to do is we want to calculate your total take home for the last 12 months. In the example that's on the left, that's $70,000 salary and $70,000 company profits. So we add those two together and we get $140,000. Follow along if you know roughly what yours are on your calculator. We add them together, we might get $140,000. I'll let you do that. Now, once you have that number, we want to divide that number by the number of weeks that you worked out of the last 52. So there are 52 weeks in the year, and if you took 2 weeks holiday, we're going to divide 140 by 50 weeks. That gives you a $2,800 weekly rate. Can I get a thumbs up in the camera if everybody's following along so far? Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Kelly. Oh, wait, that's not Kelly. All right. Now what we want to do is we want to divide 2,800 by the average hours you worked per week. And the example that's on the screen, that's 60 hours a week. So 2,800 divided by 60 gives an effective hourly rate of $46.60, $47. Now, as a business owner, somebody that's taking all the risk, all the liability, that's simply not good enough. And it probably stings a little bit. Your project manager, your foreman, maybe even your apprentice might be making more than you without taking any of the risk and liability. But the truth starts with understanding where the bottom is. And what we want to do is we want to identify what your effective hourly rate is as a business owner so that we can work to improve it by either improving your profitability or by reducing your hours worked and the time that the business requires of you. So this is an exercise to first establish where we're at and to now next establish what we need to do or where we need to go. So if everybody's identified their PBR or their professional builder's rate, their effective hourly rate, we'll now move through to step number 2. So step number 2 is called our stop doing list. All right. Now, the most important list in your business is your stop doing list. The most important number in your company is your professional builders, is your gross profit. So if we go back one slide, please, Richard, just to the profit zone. Oh, here we go. Yep. Sorry. Yeah, profit zone. You were on the right slide. Apologies. The most important list is your stop doing list. Now, your stop doing list is everything that is below your PBR or your effective hourly rate. So if your effective hourly rate on that example was $47 an hour, we want to identify everything that you do in the business that you could potentially find, delegate, hire, or outsource tasks over to for $47 or less. So think picking up and dropping materials off its site. Think maybe filtering all your emails. Think setting the site up, packing the site down, filling the skip. I want you to think now all the tasks that you currently do that are below your professional builder's rate. And I'd love for people to share a couple into the chat box. What are the things that you do currently that would fall onto your stop doing list that are tasks that are below your effective hourly rate?
Oh, and would this feed into also a lot of admin roles as well?
100%. Exactly. So as business owners, we're normally wearing many, many hats. Pricing and estimating, sales and marketing, team recruitment, working on the business, HR, hiring, firing, the list goes on, right? So what we want to do is we want to identify what things we need to delegate, outsource, eliminate, stop doing. And the easiest way to do that is to find the repeating and recurring tasks, find the tasks that are below our hourly rate. You know, in the example we used, it was $47 an hour. And we want to start by systemizing those tasks to begin with. We want to find a who and we want to find a how. Who do we delegate it to and how do we delegate it off? So for example, it could be, to your point, Richard, like reconciliation of accounts, right? And that would be a bookkeeper. Realistically, a bookkeeper is going to be a lower hourly rate than your rate as a business owner. So that makes a really reasonable thing to delegate off to exact accounting, right? Or maybe it's pricing, right? Maybe your hourly rate is, and you dislike pricing, and you would be better spent doing, negotiating with suppliers or recruiting good team members or working on your sales and marketing, but not actually pulling the quote together and going through it. Or maybe it would just be better spent doing the final 10 or 20% of the quote, not the heavy lifting of the beginning 80%. And that's where realistically people should be talking to yourself, Richard, and Julian as well, right? To pull that together. So the idea here is to identify all the tasks that are below your hourly rate that we need to stop doing and then work out who we delegate them to and how we systemize them off your plate. Is this making sense so far, everybody? Am I going too fast, too slow? Can I get a thumbs up, thumbs to the side, or are we chopping my head off like Gladiator style? We're all good. Oh man, overwhelming thumbs up. Wow. Now we're talking. Fantastic. All right. So step one, professional builders rate. Identify our effective hourly rate as a business owner. Step two, all the tasks that you do that are below that hourly rate. This is your stop doing list and the tasks that we want to delegate so that you can elevate into higher margin activities. Things like I said, negotiating with suppliers, filling the pipeline with great people and great projects, holding high standards of your culture and of your community, and making sure that you're in a position to work on and above the business rather than down in the day-to-day. That's step two. Let's now move through to step three. Step three is to now take these tasks that you want to delegate off your plate and wrap a system around it. Now, there are heaps of great systems out there. You can use great partners like Exact, Build Exact, and ProCalc, okay? But you can also just systemize some stuff really simply in a Google Calendar. Can I get a show of hands? Anybody using Outlook or Google Calendar, anything like this at the moment? Yes. Santo is? Yes. Paddy does it all in his brain? No? He's good. Yes, he's got a thumbs up. Fantastic. All right, nice. Oh, wow, look at all the emojis. I didn't know you could do that. That's amazing. So what we want to do is we want to take some of these tasks and put them into the calendar. So let's assume again, a couple that might show up in people's stop doing lists. Okay. Let me have a look through here. Accounts and deliveries. Yes, deliveries to site is a great one. Material collection and drop off, Matt, 100%. Bookkeeping, Dylan. So some of the tasks that repeat and recur, they might repeat every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. They might repeat at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month, or they might repeat based on project stages. These are ones that we want to pick up and we want to put into a calendar. So particularly administrative tasks. And when we then create the calendar time block, when we double click into the calendar, we want to have the how to, either a Loom video that records how to do the reconciliation of accounts, or a checklist on how to filter the inbox, your email inbox, or do a sales administrative task. We want to have that there. And then when the person that you delegate this to either leaves the company or changes role, we're now not needing to train somebody too aggressively. We just simply copy the calendar from them to the new person. So the calendar is the role scope rather than the role scope being hidden away on a job description. It's actually built into a Google Calendar or an Outlook calendar for Luke. Okay. Then we can start running a little bit more of a management style rather than a micromanagement style. So when we're micromanaging, we're kind of like, here's how you do it. Here's how it should be done. We want to systemize that into a Google Calendar. And then instead we can run two kind of management frameworks. One is called PSR or 131. Type in the chat box if anybody has heard of that one or knows what I'm talking about. And the other is the 3 delegation questions that we want to ask anytime we hand a task over to somebody. And that is, do you know what to do? Do you know how to do it? And do you know when it needs to be done by? When it's in a calendar, people should know when it needs to be done by. If we put in the calendar invite how to do it, they should be able to follow a Loom video or a checklist. And when it's labeled correctly and delegated to the right person, they should know exactly what to do. So anytime we delegate something to somebody, we should go, do you know what to do, how to do it, and when it needs to be done by? And then I might just hand it over to Lindsay at this point, who can teach the PSR or the 131. Lindsay's a member from WA. Great to have you on the line, Lindsay. Hope you are good. So PSR is problem, solutions, plural, recommendation. Anytime somebody comes to you with a problem, it's not good enough for them to take the monkey off their back and put it on yours. You should be asking, define one problem at a time. I want you to provide me with 3 potential solutions, and I want to hear your one recommendation. Shows that the person has thought about it, and it gives you the opportunity to either let them fail and then give them coaching, or course correct them so that they don't fail again. As business owners, it's our job to hold the highest standards and to make sure the team become good problem solvers so that they can be good leaders. And this PSR tool is a really easy one from a management point of view to train your team on and to make sure that you are in a position to train them on problem solving and train them on solutions and recommendations. So 3-step process to buying back your time and improving your profitability by freeing up your time. Let me recap them once more. Start by identifying our effective hourly rate as a business owner. If it hurts or if it's lower than you want it to be, that's okay. Just dissatisfaction is the catalyst for change. Number 2, all the tasks that are below that effective hourly rate, we want to identify. We don't need to know who or how we systemize them just yet, but we must identify them because your stop doing list is the most important list in your business. And then 3, we cherry pick the ones that will save us the most time from your stop doing list, put them into a calendar, and then delegate that calendar invite over to a new team member. Or we now have a calendar built for the next person that we hire. When we bring that person on board, we manage them via the 3 management questions and the PSR or the 131. So I don't want to take up any more of anybody's time. Open to questions. Otherwise, that's the 3-step formula for buying back time and making sure that you build a little bit of a process, particularly around the tasks that are below your hourly rate. Here's to everybody's success. I'll hand it back to Richard. Otherwise, I'll be in the chat box. Happy to answer questions as we continue today.
Sorry, just one question before you go.
Yeah.
You've got 10, 5, 3 sequence up on the board. Is that like for the next part, or is that something you should have spoken about, or did I miss that bit to complete?
Yes, great. Sorry about that. So yes. So what normally happens is we want to. That was another one. That's my bonus one. So we would normally go 10, 80, 10. Okay, so we normally delegate with the first 10% being you being part of it. The middle 80% is what you've hired the team to do. Okay, so they're the ones that are going to do the middle 80%, and then you come in for the final 10% and do your inspection of your expectations. Okay, so you don't get in business what you deserve, you get what you tolerate. And what we want to do is we want to inspect our expectations. Okay, so come in for that final 10%. The 10, 5, 3 sequence is that it's a joke that we use with our members about making sure that we are there for the first 10. There's a middle 5, and then we're coming in for the last 3 as well. So yeah, sorry I didn't make that a bit clearer. That's probably a little bit of a typo, but ultimately in this context, it's 10, 80, 10. Beginning 10%, middle 80%, final 10%. So I hope that's
great.
Sorry, it's not.